One of the things I want to address is the whole issue of mind control techniques and how this applies to what cults do to control and manipulate their members. And one of the best things that I've found is the information provided in Robert J. Lifton's book, Thought Reform and the Psychology of Totalism, that was published, the research was done in the 50s, and it was originally done with a focus on prisoners of war and the Chinese re-education programs. And what they did is they went in and they interviewed people who had gone through the re-education programs and took a look at what techniques were used to change people from behaving in one way or thinking in a certain belief system into adopting what the present propaganda was, and in effect controlling what they thought. And out of the research, what he was able to pull out were there were 8 major techniques or criteria that were used to control people's minds and get them to change. And it's really interesting to see how these 8 criteria can be used to take a look at how cults control and manipulate their own members. The 8 criteria initially are milieu control, mystical manipulation, a demand for purity, confession, sacred science, loading the language, doctrine over the person, and dispensing of existence. And what I'll do is I'll go through each one so that you get a better idea of what it is as Lifton defined it, and I'll see what I can do about applying it to how cults use it, and specifically how the cult I was in, the Jehovah's Witnesses, use it. In milieu control, there's an attempt to control the environment, who the person talks to, where they go, who they see, what they do. There are very often rules about who you can see and who you can't, and who you can talk to. You can talk to members, you can't read certain information, only certain things are allowed. For example, in the Jehovah's Witnesses, there are very strong sanctions against reading what they consider apostate material. An apostate material would be anything that criticizes their own beliefs. You're not allowed, for example, to talk to ex-members, people who have left because there's possibility they may have read some of the apostate literature and then tell you about it. There would also be a lot of controls and rules about not participating in certain activities. So one of the things that a lot of children who are raised in the Witnesses, for example, experience is they're not allowed to participate in extracurricular activities. They don't get involved in sports. They don't get involved in activities outside of the home. Most of their activities are within the organization and boundaries of what is allowed. And it's made very clear what is allowed and what isn't.